Indulgences Part 2. So I mentioned before that we know from our own experience that there can be consequences left over even after our sin is forgiven. If it's a sin that we've become addicted to or dependent on, it's going to be really hard to be free of it entirely, even if we've already been forgiven of that sin. So I'm going to use two analogies to help us try to understand this a little bit better. No analogy is perfect, but at least shed some light on why indulgences help us and why they're important. So the first one is a son is playing baseball in the yard and breaks the window. Okay, the broken window is the sin. He goes to the father and says, "Dad, I broke the window. I'm really sorry. I'll try to never do it again." Okay, that is going to confession, repenting, turning away from it. Then the father says, "You're forgiven. I understand it happens." Okay, the father has forgiven the guilt of the sin. Well, the window, however, is still broken. Okay, and this is the temporary effect of the sin that's still there after the forgiveness. And so the father might say, "You're grounded for 2 weeks." Or he might say, "You need to do some yard work to get, and I'll give you some money and then you can pay to repair the window." Okay, this is where an indulgence comes in. We've been forgiven, but there's still a remainder of the effect, the temporary effect, the temporary consequence of our sin. And so maybe he's, being extra polite around the house, doing all his homework. He got an A on a test, and the father says, "You know what? You're only grounded for 1 week, okay? You've done a great job around here. I'm gonna lessen the consequence, okay?" Or grandma might come over and say, "Here's $50. Go ahead and pay for that window and you'll be good to go." Okay, now the temporary consequence, the window situation, is repaired, even though the father forgave him right away when he asked for forgiveness. All right, that's one example. We'll get to a little bit more on indulgences in the third part of where they come from and why we have them and where they are in Scripture. Second analogy, Georgia legend and now Atlanta Falcons running back Todd Gurley. He tears his ACL. Okay, this is the sin. Okay, and no matter how hard he works or tries, he's never going to be able to fix it on his own. Okay, so he needs to go to have surgery on his ACL, and he goes to the doctor. Okay, he goes to confession, and his knee is repaired. Right, he has surgery, fixes the ACL. But as we know, Todd Gurley, he can't play, football the next day. Even though the knee is repaired, he's forgiven, he's still got a remainder. He's still got soreness. His knee is not at full strength. It's still weak. There's a consequence still with him. Okay, and so what's he going to do? He's going to go to a physical therapist or a trainer, and they're going to take him through some exercises to get his knee back to full health again. Okay, and this is again what an indulgence is. It helps us come to full healing, to full spiritual strength again, even though we've already been forgiven, we still have this consequence of our sin left over, and the indulgence can help us lessen that. And these are spiritual exercises that we do to have complete freedom, complete healing. And as I mentioned in my purgatory video, if you check it out, if there is still consequences, there's still remainder, that is what purgatory takes care of. But why have to go through all that if we can take care of it now, if we can at least do our best to have complete healing while we're still on earth? God bless you.